I find it interesting because people hear commercial and they think that's too expensive for me. People hear multifamily, they think that's too expensive for me. I think a lot of investors even hear, owning rental property versus flipping or wholesaling, and they think, oh, well, I don't have enough money for it. Could you maybe talk about some of the things you've learned during your career that helped you kind of bridge that gap and really look at kind of the long game versus the short game?
Um, well, the number one thing that really opened my eyes to it was understanding value add. Um, like I understood it before I even knew what it was. I was just like, hey, I could buy this and I could do more. I didn't understand there was a cap rate and that would like triple the value of it and all that. But um, yeah, once you understand value add, not just for properties, but for businesses or anything in general, that's huge. That's substantial because then you learn how to margin a lot more than just interest rates. And that was a big game changer for me.
Well, I think to that point is like in single family, you're driving for that appreciation, but like what you're talking about is you're driving towards like multiples, and like I mean it's essentially the same thing, but it's not, because a multiple is obviously what it sounds like, and appreciation is like, man, I got 5%, woo. So
Well, it's also kind of understanding what drives your valuation and then finding other levers you can pull, right? Like I've always said, like in residential, there's three levers. There's what you pay for the house, which is largely determined by the market. There's some skill in there, but if a guy's getting offered 200 grand, you're not going to get it from one for 100 because you know how to like do a circle on a piece of paper, right? Like it is what it is. There's what you spend on the property, which I believe that's probably highly under focused on. Like a lot of people ignore that. And then there's what you can sell it for, which is largely determined by what you spend your money on, right? Like, and that's what he's saying is like on these multifamily things, like adding some amenities so that you can increase rent, so that you're not thinking of it at that point as $100 a month. You're trying to apply the cap rate to that and then multiply, right? Like it's not linear, right? There's a point where it skips exponentially.
mm-hmm.
I say that
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I would say like the most eye awakening part was where I saw that a syndicator bought an apartment complex in Richardson, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to raise the rents $50 a piece," and I'm like, "Why are you going to change out all the appliances to stainless steel just to get $50 in rent?" It was like if I do that, you know, with the change of the cap rate, it ended up making like a $1.8 million difference in valuation. I'm like, hold on, wait, what? So, it
Was that
was,
Hudson?
I don't know. This
Uh,
was a long time ago, but he didn't even really break it down for me. He was just explaining like how much more is going to be worth. So I went to, um, there's something like Wikipedia, Investorpedia, and I looked up and did a lot of research. I'm like, all right, what are cap rates? And I read on that 20 times until I understood it, and then it'd say another word, and I went and read that 20 times until I understood it. And then went to YouTube and like skip past all the guru stuff and the people like really trying to like explain it. And I was like, just had like a mind blowing light switch that turned on, and I had already owned my apartments by then, but I only knew that I bought them for a good deal because it was the price of a house. I didn't understand cap rates and all that until like I was in the demo stage, and then later on I was like, hold on, I can make over $2 million profit on this, which I did. Um, so once I did that, that's pretty eye opening, and I like that with commercial, like the only thing that is controlling the value of that deal is me. Am I going to go find the right tenant? Am I going to put the work into it and all that? I'll say, interest rates plays a little bit of it, but I'm the biggest driver as far as like, with the residential stuff and the single family. It's a consensus of, comps and things like that are going to decide the value of your property.
right.
What's your favorite, or do you have like a favorite like anecdotal story of like going from like a 10 to a 5, and what did you do to make that happen?
Well, as far as the cap rate's changing. The biggest thing that I can do is like Trevor Turnbow. I'm sure y'all know who he is. You know, his family was selling a triple net property, and they were trying to sell that thing at like a 6 cap for a really long time. But you know, as a title owned company, they're kind of more of like an at risk business. They'd been there 30 years. I made him an offer for half of what he wanted. I ended up buying it with a 1031 exchange at an 18 cap. And so all I did was own it for long enough that it paid for itself, you know, for me. And then turned around and asked what Trevor was asking. I sold it in 30 days. And, you know, just sold it at a lower cap rate. I didn't even need interest rates to help me. But right now with interest rates high, you know, this has really murdered the evaluation of a lot of these properties, because there's properties out there that are worth $30 million that are now worth 5, and solely because of interest rates. Nothing changed. Same tenant, same rents, all that. And that's why I keep expressing to people, I'm like, you have no idea what's actually going on behind the scenes of these people. So during COVID, I went like head first, and the first year I bought 19 commercial properties. Now I think I have 40 something. Haven't really like made a good count of it, but I'm about to once property taxes come out. But
It's always a good time to take stock, right?
yeah, but if interest rates come down, not even to 3% again, if they even come down to 5, like I'm gonna do so well, so amazingly well. So,
Yeah.
like I said, a little bit of luck and a little bit of like putting myself in the position to be lucky.